I'm Natalie. Thank you all for being here. I'm the Senior Director for Member and Student Engagement. So, as part of our work, we're really thinking about how folks are getting themselves ready for the upcoming election, but also thinking about what are all those great things they can be doing on campus to bring students together. So, we are lucky to have Mia and Lindsay here from the Close Up Foundation to talk about their project, America in One Room, and how higher ed can get involved. So I'm going to hand it over to them. And this is very casual. So if people have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat or unmute yourself. As you see, we're a small group and we're excited to have you here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie, and thank you, Campus Compact, for having us. We're really excited about America in One Room that's happening this July. I'm Mia Charity. I'm president here at the Close Up Foundation. I've been working at Close Up for almost 20 years, and so throughout the year, we have an opportunity to work with thousands of young people across the country on student programs, work with teachers in classrooms to help support professional development opportunities that help students connect better with public policy issues and develop the skills to be active and engaged citizens. And we're excited. I'll tell you a little bit more about America in One Room in a second, but let Lindsay introduce herself.
Everyone, and thank you again, Natalie, for having us here. I'm Lindsay. I'm our Chief Innovation Officer, and I'm in charge of helping think about new partnerships and programs and opportunities to serve more young people and educators. And I actually met Natalie through our Civic Fellows program that we launched 2 years ago, where we hire recent college graduates to come work at Close Up for a year and both work with our students and go through a series of sort of professional development trainings and opportunities to learn more about the field of civic education and what young people from all over the country think. So I'll just make that plug. If you all have young people at your universities that you think might be interested in a one-year fellowship, we can also include that in the follow-up. And with that, back to Mia.
Wonderful. If all of you, if you don't mind, dropping your name and your university in the chat, just so we get a sense of who's in the room, I'll start by telling everyone a little bit about America in One Room. We're doing this project in partnership with the Democracy Deliberation Lab at Stanford University, Helena and Generation Lab. America in One Room this go around. The first one was in 2019 with a set of adults looking at election issues, and the one that we'll be conducting this summer, July 19th through the 22nd, will be an opportunity to bring together 500 first-time voters who will be heading to the polls for the first time in November. Through the event itself, students will go through 4 different deliberations where they'll look at 8 to 10 different policy issues under the umbrellas of healthcare, environmental issues, the economy and workforce, and then the last category is elections and democracy. And so all of the policy issues that students will look at will be a balance of more liberal leaning or conservative leaning policy proposals, in addition to the actual deliberation exercise that students will go through. They'll have an opportunity at the end of those deliberations to hear from an expert panel of folks representing a range of issues and perspectives on our expert panels. One of the cool things that we're excited about, Close Up serves about 20,000 students a year from different communities and brings them together. But this one, we're excited that the 500 students that we'll have this summer will represent every state, every demographic. And so the report that we'll have coming out of America in One Room will be reflective of a national voice of young people. And since we have the 500 students will mostly be 18-year-olds that are heading to the polls. We know that a large number of them will be heading to university and colleges after in the fall. So we wanted to look at other university partners beyond Stanford and say, what are the pathways that students that help bridge the gap between high school and college? And, as we talk to more and more university partners, we're learning about what activities students can plug into coming into the fall. And we're hoping to have some other activities like a national virtual deliberation that we do in the fall that hopefully partners can plug into. Um, I'll stop there and let Lindsay fill in some of the blanks on the programming and the sample.
Perfect. One of the other exciting things on the actual program is that after students go through the 4 deliberations on the final day, we're going to go through a facilitation training and some follow-up activities that we are hoping can amplify the results of the program as they go to campuses and back to schools around the country. And so a part of that and sort of part of the overall goal of the project is how do we bring more deliberative dialogue to high schools and universities nationwide? How do we set up young people and institutions to have successful conversations about controversial issues that matter in our country? And how do we give students the sort of training and background to be able to help with that facilitation? And so, as Mia mentioned, we are going to host a national deliberation on Stanford's deliberation platform at some point in the fall. We're going to do one that's targeted at high school students and then another one that's specifically for universities. We are hoping that all of our university coalition partners will share that with their students and campuses. And there will also be an expert panel that follows that. I do want to mention that Stanford's also done some national deliberations with universities in the past, can certainly share an example and report out that came from one of those activities. But their goal is really how do you bring people with different perspectives together, make sure that they're informed and have the background to have strong conversations, and then give them the opportunity to ask questions of experts and reflect on the experience. And so we know right now more than ever heading into the election and also heading out of a tough spring as it relates to civil discourse on campuses, that more events like this are important, and the more that we can help young people develop those skills, the better. So in terms of what we're looking for from university partners, we are looking, A, for you to support the initiative of spreading deliberation, 2, for you guys to agree to share the report that comes out, and then hopefully host a deliberation event on your campus next year, whether that's with us through the national events we put on, or whether that's we're going to make all of the materials that we are putting together for this summer's deliberation public after the event. And so that will include a minimum of 40 proposals that are vetted and researched and have balanced points of view on issues of the day that are important to young people. I will hand it back over to Mia, but that's sort of a little bit more about kind of what we're imagining around the event. And Mia, do you want to share some of the university partners that we already
Go
have?
for it. Go for it.
So in addition, obviously, to Stanford, University of USC in California is partnering with us, Indiana University, University of Oklahoma, UVA, Duke, American, and we have a whole list of universities that we're currently in conversation with. But one of our goals is also to make sure that we have representation from community colleges, state schools, private institutions, sort of the larger diversity of institutions that are part of this, the better. And we're also hoping that our young people are going to a diversity of institutions. Once we have all 500 students confirmed for the program, we will pull and release a list of the university students will be attending in the fall. And we're hoping that each of those will engage with the student and help them think about ways to encourage deliberation on campus.
Perfect. One other note is, we also want to hear from you all. I mean, I'm assuming that most universities have some level of engagement opportunities heading into the election. We want to create sort of a resource portal for students that participate in the summer event and the corresponding virtual opportunity that will be in parallel during the in-person event. I don't think we mentioned that because we mentioned the fall deliberation, but there is one component of um, the summer event in July that will be virtual. So we're selecting 500 that will come to Washington. Right now, we have about 2,600 students that have registered as interested nationally from across the country. So all of those students, whether you might come to Washington, but if you don't get selected for that, you can participate in one of the deliberations. We're going to do that on Saturday, July 20th in the afternoon, and it'll be the deliberation on economy and workforce. So the students that would do the virtual piece will go on to Stanford's deliberation platform, but then they'll live stream into the expert panel that the students in person will be participating in as well. And so those are, if they're interested in the program, there's still a way to participate virtually if students aren't coming to the in-person event in Washington, DC. And in terms of who uh, universities have been pushing that out to like dual enrollment programs or anyone else that's sort of in that 17 to 18 range in the fall to participate. So if you're interested in sharing that information, that will have that information in the follow-up email to you as well. But we'll pause right there just for a brief second and see if there are any questions or if anybody wants to share what your plans look like in the fall for engaging students around the election. We'd love to hear it. By the way, Dartmouth is on here. Yay. Okay. Okay. I was just looking at the list of folks here. WashU. Okay. Yay.
Did you see the Miami, what was it?
Oh,
Miami-Dade College?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For we are working with St. Petersburg College in the network of schools of community colleges in Florida, and we're actually they have a program called Promise Scholars, and so we're looking to do some work with them in the fall more holistically for campus, and have a meeting with Broward College next week too in the network of community colleges down there. So great to connect with you, Josh.
Yeah, I'll put my email in the chat. One of the programs
Wonderful.
that we've gotten into and has been very, very successful is the Unify America College Bowl. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's a phenomenal program, very easy to participate in. And we've had almost 2,000 students in the last 2 years go through that experience. I'll drop the website in the chat here, but
Awesome.
basically the way it works is a student signs up. It takes about 2 minutes with some basic information about their race, where they live, urban, rural, their political leanings, and then they sign up for one of approximately 12 um, chats, and they get matched at that time with another college student outside of their bubble. And using technology, there's a process where they discuss really complex issues and share how it's beautiful, and our students love it. And in the end, they realize that we all have more in common than what divides us. So it's really fun. It was started by Harry Gottlieb, and it's really growing a lot around the country. I highly, highly recommend it. So, it only takes about an
Amazing.
hour of a student's time, and it's kind of a great first step for us all to see that we can have a civil conversation with someone very different from ourselves.
I'll ask
Amazing.
you, because we work with Unify a lot, and I'm a big fan of theirs as well. It could be a really nice supplement to what you guys are doing, because the other thing that they do really well is that if a faculty member assigns it in their class, then that faculty member gets their own dashboard that tells them when their students went, if they participated, all of that kind of stuff, so that it can be easily integrated into their classwork. So yeah, they're
Awesome. We're looking for, so all of the students, when they leave the program in July, will have access to a platform with opportunities to stay engaged, civic engagement activities, et cetera. And so I think things like this, we're happy to highlight. It doesn't have to be just things that we're putting on. And so as others have ideas about civic engagement opportunities that make sense on the university level, we would love to hear more about them and make sure that we encourage students to participate after the event.
Yeah, and their
Awesome.
College Bowl actually happens in the fall, so it could be a really nice next step for you guys.
Wonderful.
And what's it called again? It's Unify America. Got it.
Yeah, so Josh just put their
Thank
link
you,
in there.
Josh.
The College Bowl is the one that they're thinking about. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, awesome.
Any questions we can answer? And again, our goal is to have sort of as many of you consider being a coalition partner of this project. And if you have specific questions about that piece too, happy to answer them.
One of the other notes is that we're planning to have in I think the end of June a coalition meeting with all of the university partners to sort of give an update on where things are with the planning, the virtual event, and what the post program opportunities look like. We'll also have one sort of coalition meeting after the event in July. Again, we'll have more of the post event stuff ironed out. And also, we'll be able to share as a preview with everyone what the report looks like coming out of the event in terms of how students change attitudes and what insights we report out from the event. So we'll make sure that data is set after the report comes out so that everyone can be equipped to share it and utilize it as they can on their campuses. Perfect. Everybody's ready to sign up? Yes. Great.
So I know you
Cool.
guys were looking for a diversity of folks to participate in the in-person, but for the folks, like for the people who might want to be on the online, is that a little bit more open? Like, because I know you were trying to balance diversity
Yes.
within the in-person.
Yeah, we won't look at any of, there's no selection criteria other than the students be 17 and 18-year-olds eligible to vote in the fall. We won't worry about demographics. The more the merrier for the virtual piece for sure. Perfect. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. Is there anything else you want to add, Lindsay?
Yeah, I just want to add that whether or not you have students participate in July is not important in terms of being a university coalition partner. Again, for that piece, we're just looking for as many institutions to sign on to the idea that deliberative dialogue is important and that we all work together to spread that kind of discourse on high school and college campuses. And so the other thing I just wanted to throw out is most of our university partners, it's not necessarily like the entire university that's signing on. It might be like the Center for Politics at UVA or X program at a specific school. So if any of you are part of a civic engagement center of sorts or thing like that, we're excited to have sort of institutions within larger institutions join us. And so I know that there's often a lot of paperwork and red tape around sort of an official university sanction event, but happy to work with any centers within your universities as well.
So I just wanted to tell you something. My name's Deborah. I'm with UW Parkside. And in Wisconsin, at UW-Madison, we have something called the Tommy Thompson Center, named for former governor. And they have a program, it's a civil discourse program. And they basically have given students at universities across the state a full scholarship for a semester, or actually one of our student, he's going to be doing it again another semester, to organize civil discourse events on campus. And there's the person who's leading it is at UW Oshkosh. His name is Mike Luter. In any case, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's any connection that you can make to that, but as far as I know, there were like 5 or 6 campuses maybe that had student leaders who got those scholarships. One of them is here at Parkside, and he organized 4 events. I believe that's what the obligation is that they have to do around different issues. Anyway, so we're participating in that. I mean, I'm not sure if we would be able to continue. We could do this other thing, but I just wanted to tell you about that work.
Thank
And
you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Lindsay, is that where Paula was before she
so
went to
it's where
NC State?
Diana Hess
Yeah, and
was
Paula
when
were there.
Diana
Yeah.
and Paula, I think, wrote their political classroom book together. And Mia mentions Paula because she's on one of our advisory councils, and she also did a research study using close-up students on deliberation. So we definitely should reach back out. And I know she's going to be a moderator at the event as well.
yeah, I can I can look really quick and see if I can get you Mike's email and put it in the chat. So if you want to reach out to Mike, or
Awesome.
the the contact at Tommy Thompson Center is Ruth Brash. So I mean, I'm sure you could find them, but here I'll look real quick.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Wonderful.
Hold on.
So we can have Natalie share with us the registration list, and we'll send out sort of what it means to be a coalition partner and requirements and what we'd be looking for. If you're not interested, you can ignore the email. So don't feel like that's saying you said okay. But that will give you sort of the formal outline of what we're looking for. And then we'll continue to also share once we have the link for the July 20th online piece, especially, we're also inviting educators who just want to see the platform and see how it handles these online deliberations. So if you want to join in just for a visual of that, you are more than welcome to register as well. And I can stick around for a few minutes if anyone has individual questions. But we definitely appreciate any ideas of sort of how this is already happening in the college space. We're very networked in the middle and high school space in terms of civic education engagement activities, but as we work with more universities, always helpful to hear about things like Unify America. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And Josh, one last note for you. We Miami-Dade Community College came up on our call last week because we have Ileana Ross-Layton on our board, and she is a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College. And so we were talking about how to connect with the university. So I will be happy to report that you were here and we are connected. So thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely stay in touch. I put my email there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Michael, did you join late? We can stay on with you for a few minutes and get you up to speed too.
Yeah, thank you. I had another appointment and was just made aware of this meeting yesterday, so I wanted to jump in as soon as it was over. So thank you for having me. I work at University of Washington with Fran Lowe at the Selly Center. Just started here as a program manager for student civic leadership development. Pleasure to join you all.
Wonderful.
So before more folks hop off, I just wanted to mention too that so we brought this resource because we know a lot of people are thinking about dialogue, and we know that Close Up Foundation is really thinking about partners in the space. We're doing another one of these types of conversations with another organization called Living Room Conversations. So I just put the link for that one. Again, we know that a lot of people are thinking about how to do really respectful, deliberative, important dialogue as we come into the election. So we're going to be trying to highlight more partners like this throughout the summer and really as much as we can leading up to the election so that you all have as many resources as possible.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you all, everyone, and we'll be in touch.